everyone, so I figured that I would just record this video because I don't have anything to do right now and I have some time, so I figured I'd start my vlogs of my accutane journey. I really wanted to document it because I felt like it's a really cool thing to see, and also when someone's considering going on it, it's really nice to be able to go on the internet and find other people's experiences with it in detail. So this is what my face looks like right now. Before I start, this is what it looks like. I should be starting either tomorrow or the day after that. My prescription is just being called in. So this is my face before. There's a lot of under the skin acne. There's a lot going on my chin. There's actually nothing on my forehead, which is really weird, but I'm not complaining. But right now everything is really irritated, kind of. It's very painful to just wash my face, touch my face. The whole nine just is very sore. So it's gonna be nice to wake up and not, be in pain over your face. But basically, I'll kind of explain my point up to here and how I made the decision to start with my dermatologist, because it is a really serious medication. It takes pretty much an act of God to get on it, especially if you're a woman. So it's not a light thing to do. So I'm going to explain how I basically got here to this point. So in 2016, my face was really broken out like this, and I'd gone to my dermatologist, which was a completely different person than who I'm going to now. He prescribed me a sulfur wash and some ointment, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna try this. So I went home, I did that. It turned out that just dried out my skin and didn't actually clear up the acne at all. So I was left with really dry, irritated skin and no clearing up things. So I was like, alright. I went back to him. He put me on a different wash and a different topical. It did the same thing for me. At that point, he decided to try an oral antibiotic. So I took that. It was minocycline, it was called. I took that. It worked for a little while. It stopped working. Upped the dosage. Didn't work anymore. I was like, okay. At that point, I had gone to a different dermatologist, not because I was fed up with this guy, but because his waiting room was always really busy and you never got called on time. Every time you go into the office, you'd be waiting there for 4 hours at least, and it was just insane. So I decided to go to someone else. It's actually the group that I go to now. It's a different doctor in that group that I went to. So she started me on something else. She brought up the conversation of accutane, and I got the eye pledge book, filled it out, and then ended up never getting my blood done and never actually following through with the process. So that was my own fault, and I take full responsibility for that because my acne could have been cleared up and I did not, do that. So basically, I decided to try something else. Now, in between these appointments, I decided to try some drugstore things. I tried out the Aveeno, I believe it was like the acne wipes, or some type of wipe, I believe, and it ended up where I woke up the next day and my face was burning and literally peeling off. So I must have had some type of reaction. I went back to the dermatologist, got some moisturizing face wash, got some really gentle cream, and eventually that cleared up, but obviously my acne still did not. So at this point, online I had found Curology, it's called. Basically a doctor prescribes you medication and you get it delivered right to your door. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this now too. So I did that. In the beginning I was put on doxycycline, and I believe it was like just a bunch of different ones, like clindamycin, adapalene, something like that. And basically I was put on that, and it worked for a while. And then because it was working, my doctor decided to take me off with the doxycycline and just keep me on 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 the topical ointments, and basically that worked for a really long time too. And then eventually that stopped working as well. So I kept messaging my doctor and kept saying, I want something else, I need something else, and I wanted the pills back because I thought that would help, and they didn't want to prescribe them to me for some reason. I don't know why, they just didn't want to. So I ended up getting my prescription changed to tretinoin and clindamycin and azelaic acid. And I tried that for a really long time, still didn't work, and it got to the point of where it is now, where they're under the skin, they're very painful, nothing is working. So I looked into accutane, and I decided to just look up all the side effects, and I was like, you know what, I think this is my last resort. So I found a new dermatologist. He is awesome, and I went in there, and I literally, he took a look at my chart. He had seen how many things that I've tried, and I said, listen, I think that the best route for me right now is accutane. And he gave me the whole rundown of what it is, the side effects. It gave me an in-depth talk about what it is, which I really appreciate because it is a very serious decision. You don't just make it lightly. But he decided to agree because, I had tried everything, and you can see that in my chart. So he gave me the medication then. Not the medication. He gave me the booklets then to fill out. You have to fill out a system called iPledge. So I did that. I got an email with my username and my password because iPledge has an entire online portal and a phone number and everything else because they're dedicated to making sure that you do not get pregnant on this drug, as it can cause some really serious birth defects in your child if you do. So they made sure to get me registered in that, and basically you go on there. So my first visit, I did blood work right after. Thank God they have a blood work lab right there in the office, so I was able to just get my blood done there. I got my blood done, and they make you, if you're a woman, take a negative pregnancy test. If it's negative, you get registered into the system, and you wait another month, and then you go back into the doctor. You get your blood done about 5 days before your appointment with the dermatologist. You go back in there, you get your blood done. I believe it's to check your liver, just to make sure that your liver is doing okay, because it can, one of the more rare but serious side effects is damage to your liver. So they make sure that you can do that. And then you go in, you get another negative pregnancy test. Your doctor inputs into iPledge that you had a negative pregnancy test. You go on there, you state your 2 forms of birth control, which mine are the pills and abstinence, and you do that, and then basically you answer comprehension questions, and then once you do that, you have about a 2-day window to pick up your medication from the pharmacy. Now, when you pick it up from the pharmacy, you do have to have your ID cards on you. They come in your book, and basically it's such a serious medication that they're not allowed by law to give the medication to you unless you have those ID cards with you. So it's really important. And another really important thing that I forgot to mention is you have about 6 days from your negative pregnancy test to actually pick up your medication. So you have 6 days to fill out the comprehension questions and pick up your medication once it's called in again for you. The prescription goes by month. They don't just give you 6 months all in one time. It's by 1 month basis, so they can make sure that you're still not pregnant and that your liver is doing okay. So it goes by the month, and you have about 6 days. So there's a serious time frame. They make no exceptions. They do not care what your situation is. You have to get it in those 6 days, or else I believe you wait another month or something like that, and you miss a whole month, which is not something that I want to do. I'm not gonna lie, getting on this has been a really long process, and it's been a difficult process. It's taken a lot of doctors. I had to get a clearance from my psychiatrist because I do have a history with anxiety and depression, which is also one of the side effects, so I did have to get a clearance to make sure that I can actually take the medication. Had to get a clearance from them. I had to be put on birth control as well, which required another visit. Obviously, monthly visits to my dermatologist, blood work, all the fun stuff, but I'm really excited. Tomorrow's actually my birthday, and I started the process on my birthday, and I kept saying, like, my birthday gift to myself this year is clear skin, so I hope it works for me. I know it's not going to be the easiest road, but I am very, very excited. Today's the 27th, so I'm going to check in a month from today, let you guys know how I feel, how my skin feels, and just how the medication is affecting me, and if my acne has begun at all to clear up. I'll be on it, I believe, for around 6 months, and then I'll have to still get my blood and pregnancy test done again a month after. So I'll check back in.